And are we recording?
We are.
Okay. I couldn't see the link. Okay. My meeting note pursuant to Maryland Code Annotated Election Law Article 2-208, all meetings of the Washington County Board of Elections are live streamed and recorded. And those recordings will be posted online and archived as required by law. Live stream broadcasts and recordings may consist of video, audio, or any combination thereof. By participating in any meeting, you consent to be recorded. Okay. And we do have a full house, and we have a new board member present that was just sworn in today.
An hour ago.
So welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
So full house and one visitor so far. Did you sign the?
I just want to speak, so I didn't sign it.
Oh, you still should sign that you're present, if you don't mind, please. Okay. All right. It has to recess. So how do we do this since it's above the approval of the agenda?
So we're going to approve the agenda, which gets us the executive session and the budget session amended.
Okay.
And then if you want, we can word the motion for the executive session after approving the minutes, and then that's behind us.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Well, if we do the executive session to the end.
Right.
Okay, then the minutes would be next anyway.
Okay.
So I just didn't want to exclude the minutes necessarily.
Right.
You want me to make the motion?
Yes, please.
Madam Chair, as seeking approval of the draft agenda as presented for January 13th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
Did you say what's wrong?
Second?
No, I said second.
Oh, I thought you had a puzzled look on your.
No.
Well, I was thinking in my head, there were some adjustments to the
But
agenda,
we
but
wanna
that
make
goes
the
in, yeah.
second, and then
That was what was going,
Okay.
I was making those steps in my head as I was.
So you were delayed after my.
Yes, yeah.
so, and you're gonna seek those amendments.
Correct. That's the next step. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Madam President, I would like to request that we add recess into executive session. Reason being, in the Open Meetings Act procedures for the purpose of number one, appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of an appointee, employee, or official over whom it has jurisdiction. And specifically, it is the election director, Barry Jackson's performance evaluation. So we need to add that. And then can I give you all of them? And then we'll.
All of them that you have?
Yeah. The other thing was to add number 2 to unfinished business, which is not unfinished business, to new business. Number 2 to new business, which is the FY27 proposed budget.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, I have 2 additions. There were 2 items of correspondence that included the entire board. One was, I copied the board on a note that I sent to the county commissioners following my session with them back in November. And the second one was Claudia's resignation letter that was shared with the board. So I just wanted both of those to be on the record.
So you want to add those as amendment
As course, yeah,
correspondence.
right.
Mhm.
Not that they need to be discussed or anything, but just as a record,
Yep.
point of record.
Got it.
Okay. Any other changes, corrections, additions, deletions? Okay, all those,
May I make
Sure.
a suggestion? The executive session should be placed at the end of the agenda.
Okay.
The budget item goes under new business, and we've already located the changes for correspondence. So
Okay.
they should be.
okay. All right. So all those in favor of the motion as amended signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay. Motion approved. Okay, draft minutes of the November 13th executive session.
Okay, I believe everyone's had a chance to look over them. Madam Chair would like to seek approval from the board for the executive session minutes of November 13th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
That one does include my presence, right? Okay, so the general minutes didn't note my presence at that meeting, but
Did not,
We're
we
not-
haven't
we're not
done
there
those
yet.
yet.
those are okay.
And Nancy
Yeah,
second.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion, any changes, corrections? Do you want to make,
No, I was thinking of something else.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, nay.
I abstain
Thank you.
since I was not there.
All right. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, final set of minutes, seeking approval for the regular session minutes of November 13th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the minutes of the November 13th regular session. Are there any corrections, changes, additions to the minutes?
Madam Chair, if I may, I was present for that meeting, but I don't believe I am mentioned until my name was called up in substantive part of the minutes.
Just place his name at the board like we normally do
Right.
on the board.
Somewhere in there.
Yep.
I'm listed up top as neither present nor absent, but I wasn't back there.
We also have Candace Carper on here twice.
Yeah.
Twice, so
Maybe you're Candace number 2 instead of Candace number 1.
I'll take it.
Weren't you late for that one, Candace?
3 of
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
I feel like what may have happened, is since she's on her twice, probably we copied the name and meant to put Brian and then it just never happened.
Okay.
And I had a couple questions.
Okay.
Under the guest, I guess we're working on that present list. On the first page, it says Taj Smith, a guest, and then get list. So I think
That's
that
right.
means the list from the sign-in.
Yeah.
And I remember picking it up and bringing it over here. So
And
You
I
have it.
left it
it was
with,
found. Okay.
Yeah, no, well, mine actually shows all the names on the list. It doesn't say
Oh.
get list.
Oh,
So I
but you've
should
got
have,
the newest one. I type,
I
okay.
could have emailed this to you.
So you made that change.
I don't know, I just printed this one off just a few minutes ago and it's not on there.
Maybe I,
I just printed this before I
That
left the
says
office.
get list.
Yeah, it says get list, so no, it's not on ours.
so the
Okay.
next question right under it is one virtual call. My question is, in the past, we've always listed guests even when they called in by name. So I'm confused why we've changed that protocol.
We were unable to identify the caller.
And I remember, didn't we even ask who the caller
We
was?
did, and they never
And they never
answered.
responded.
Yeah.
So it showed on here that someone was on, but we didn't know who it was and they never identified themselves.
Has that ever happened before?
well, this is new,
Yeah.
a new process of recording our
That's
meetings.
true too.
Yeah. So does it say unidentified caller?
Just says one virtual and
Yeah, so maybe we could
In your
amend
new
it to
list,
say
new minutes say one virtual.
unidentified.
unidentified.
Caller. Or-
And then I had just a general question. And I think I'm gonna direct it to Brian, and it does refer also to the executive session minutes, which we've already approved. It feels like our minutes, I mean, we're archiving, we're recording. It seems like our minutes are getting very detailed and long. And I'm not sure if we need this kind of detail, if we already have them archived and recorded. It seems like we just lengthen, and I would, maybe this is for a future
Right.
conversation.
Yeah,
But when I look at the executive session minutes, I don't know if you've seen them,
but they're not recorded.
and they're not recorded, so I can see a little more detail, but you know, I'm seeing, and I have no way, I'm not listening to the recording, so I have no way of knowing if all of these adjectives are exactly the words that were said on the recording, or if they're just how the note taker remembered them. I'm just having a little,
Well, that's really not an amendment to the motion on the floor,
I'm
so
sorry, but
that's okay.
it's just an open discussion that I feel like maybe we oughta,
we
I don't
should
know
have
where-
that at some
yes,
point,
So
yes.
where we would like to do that. I
Yes.
just keep noticing it on all of our minutes, and
Okay.
it seems concerning.
Yeah.
Could you make a note to add that as a new business item for next month?
Thank you, Madam
Mhm.
Chair. Did you
Any
want
other
to see those?
corrections or changes, amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended signify by saying aye.
Um,
Abstain
I'll abstain because I was not on the board at the time.
and oppose. No opposed. Okay, motion carries.
Okay.
Okay. Correspondence, I've already noted the two correspondence items that I recalled that should have been listed and are there now. Election director report.
Okay. And the personnel, Craig Winkowski started last Wednesday as our new IT warehouse clerk. He is basically responsible for helping Carl with the election equipment, as well as he's kind of our IT person, our troubleshooting person when we have issues with our computers. He has a little more tech knowledge, and so he'll be responsible for that. And then he's also responsible for our election judge supplies, so he'll be managing all of that. Curtis, who was our part-time worker who was doing that for us, he'll just be working underneath of Craig from now on. And then Sarah Deal has accepted the outreach coordinator position, and she begins on February 4th. So she literally just accepted it yesterday, I think, right? We got the news that she accepted it. So she'll be beginning on February 4th. We're very excited about that. And of course, Peter Perini appointed as new board member today.
Yeah.
So replacing Claudia Martin. As far as meetings go, we haven't been too much meetings with SBE through the holidays. Our next meeting is this Thursday, the 15th. And then we have a board meeting next week. That will be done virtually. We won't be traveling to that one. The IGO Midwinter Conference is next week in Albuquerque. We'll be there all week. And then we have some staff that are going to be going to Howard County next Thursday, January 22nd. Howard County is hosting a team building and best practice meeting. So I think we're going to close the office while they're there. So we'll make sure we post it.
Are we supposed to come in for that Mayo meeting on January 20th?
Oh, no, that's
No,
just a
that's-
Mayo board meeting.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we're just
okay.
Making you aware of the meetings that we're attending. And yeah, we do those monthly. the
Okay.
Mayo board meetings.
Yeah, and before you leave meetings,
Mhm.
I wanted to ask how the League of Women's Voters meeting went. That was on the 13th after our board meeting. You and Claudia left here to
Oh,
go.
yes. Yeah, they had a gentleman there, Peter was there, they had a gentleman there, who was discussing redistricting. I guess he had worked in one of the redistricting organizations back in 2020. So I think Peter, I'm sure, has some thoughts. But it was informational. So,
Okay, all right.
legislative update, the 449th general session begins tomorrow. And so some election related bills that we're already tracking that we've gotten notice about, House Bill 221, would allow for people to change party during the primary election and vote that party ballot that they changed to. So in the past, it had been unaffiliated voters that they were worried about, but now this one just allows anyone, any registered voter, to change their party to whatever party they want to vote that ballot. Senate Bill 29 and House Bill 44. It's a plain language bill for petitions and ballot questions. And then Senate Bill 73, voting by elderly voters and voters with disabilities. This one's a fairly lengthy bill about how to assist elderly voters and voters with disabilities. One of the suggestions on there was to create an expedited line for elderly voters and voters with disabilities, as well as educating our election judges on how to assist elderly and voters with disabilities. We do that now as part of our chapters 1 through 4, but maybe they want us to beef that up a little bit.
But is it part of the, is it part of the law now, or just, I mean, you say we do it. We do
now,
it because we do it out of courtesy, not because we're required.
It's a great question. I can't imagine that there's anything in our election judge manual that is not rooted in some law.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know the answer to that specifically.
Is there any language in that legislation, proposed legislation about nursing home voters?
Well, this particular law doesn't deal with that specifically because this is dealing with in-person voting.
I didn't know. You said it was lengthy, so I didn't know. If it
Right. Yeah.
handled all of that.
Yeah. Those are what I know so far. I can guarantee by the time we meet again, I'll have a longer list.
Can I ask real quick? I think, Barry, you're on the legislative committee with Mayo, right? So do you generally report back to the position of Mayo?
We have, yes.
I know we're just getting started with
Yeah.
the session tomorrow, but
So the committee will go through each of these bills and we'll decide if we have a position. A lot of times we won't take a position. Sometimes we'll say no position, but we want to provide information. You know, we're concerned that maybe they don't have all the information that they need. And then other times we'll either oppose or support them. But we go through each one and we decide what we're going to do. And in the ones where we need to provide information or we either support or oppose, we typically will send someone to speak at the hearing. Yeah.
And Barry typically keeps us informed of the status of the bills as they progress or whatever through the system.
does Mayo use the General Assembly's system for tracking bills?
We do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And last question, are there any proposed pieces of legislation coming out of Mayo in this session?
We typically in election years try to stay back and not try to create too many waves.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you're gonna have anything coming forward.
I think SBE might have a couple of administrative bills, but again, they're just administrative things.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, continue, sorry.
All right. Voter registration statistics for December are in your packet. It's in the back of the packet. Candidate filing. So the candidate filing deadline is coming up February 24th. We have had 21 filings so far, but one of them, it was a candidate for Democratic Central Committee, had withdrawn. So now we're down to 20 filings. And I expect now that we flip the calendar, that's going to pick up pretty much. And so you can see the list of, who's filed so far. Interestingly, there's only one for Board of Education so far. We need to have 7 in order to have a nonpartisan ballot.
Because it's 3 seats.
Yeah, 3 seats. Voting system activities, we have requested 28 more poll books, and 14 more printers from SBE specifically for election just training. What we do right now is we use poll books for actual precincts. You know, we borrow from them and we use them for training, and then we take them back and get them ready for the precincts. What we'd like to do is just have specific poll books just for training, and SBE has additional poll books, and they've asked us if we wanted to get some more. And so we've asked for 28, and they would just be specifically assigned to training. We already have 14 printers available, so that's why we only asked for 14 more.
And will the database still be real voters, or will it be?
It's a training database. So what it is, it's a jumbled up version of real voters. So they're real names, like a real first name and somebody else's last name, somebody else's address. So they jumble them up.
Okay, so it's not truly,
Right.
okay.
And then, we hope to have that training database by the end of this month so that we can start getting ready. We're not going to start training until April, so there's plenty of time, but, Carl likes to jump on top of things. He's not one to procrastinate. So, as far as projects that we're working on, our new website, as soon as we get our outreach person in, that's going to be one of her first assignments, is to look into getting us a new website. And again, the whole purpose of getting a new website is so that we can have a .gov domain. Currently we're .org, I think, right? And so it's been highly recommended by many security firms and agencies to, if you're a government agency, you should have a .gov, especially in this current environment for election officials. The I Voted sticker contest. Do we want to share that real quick? So,
I thought some of them were really good.
Mhm, mhm.
well, what you have to do is go to the left. There you go. Select the page that shows the
It's not
vote.
showing. It's just when I show the window, it's only showing those.
All right, we'll cancel that. Go over to your left screen. Your left screen. Yep. Look on your, yeah, there you go. And select, you have it selected? Okay. All right. And then we're gonna come back here and share it. And, yeah, that should be okay, right?
There we are.
Okay. So we can scroll down. Actually, I think you'll have to be over there to scroll down, right? On the left, let's go left.
I gotta get it back from up here. You go left, right?
Yeah, left. Yeah, but then you just went right.
Because you're coming up off the TV, you go left, correct?
Yep. So here's the elementary school finalists. All right, so here's your mouse. All right, so all right, just kind of grab that. All right. We've had 340 so far.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is, really
Oh,
good.
when did it open?
January 5th. I think,
Okay.
right?
Oh,
And, the county has helped us. All right, now you're on the wrong screen.
Yeah, no, but when I get down here, I can't see this.
what happens when we get old?
I always have problems when it comes.
Well, don't look on the TV, look on
I'm not,
there.
I'm looking here, but I gotta go to the right.
You're looking, look here and move to the left and you'll see your mouse. There you go.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, yeah, so January 5th, the county announced it, so they sent it out in their broadcast, notifications. We also obviously publish it. If you go on our website, you'll see the screen that pops up that says that, you can now vote. And we have to have a QR code that if they're using their phones, they can do it. So that's the elementary one, the high school one. You can go down.
And it ends the 23rd?
23rd, yeah.
Okay.
That's the high school.
So we didn't have any middle schoolers.
We had one middle school. And so by default, they won.
Oh, okay.
So no need to vote.
Yeah, but you need to vote for that one. and then our future voters. So, those are the two future voter, and this is actually the site where you can vote. So like, Teresa
Okay.
could technically vote on this if she wanted to. But,
It's okay.
yeah, so it's going well. We're pretty happy with the response so far. So we'll see what happens on the 23rd. And then once we do determine the winners, then we'll contact some, printing companies for, getting those made out for us. We're probably going to do a grand total of about 100,000, just kind of split up between the different ones, so that people have an opportunity to pick whatever one they want. So that's the iVoter sticker contest. Our election management software services project is doing well. We currently have the election judge site live. So there's a process that our election judges have to go through. The first thing they have to do is fill out an election judge interest form that the state has created. It's a mandated form by the state. So they fill that out. That form has most of the information that we need, but it doesn't have all of it. And so once they fill that form out, then we contact them and say, okay, now that you filled that form out, please fill this other form out. It's just things like the first form doesn't have things like their mailing address, like what position do they want to work? Like that's not on the initial one.
Okay.
So things like that. So we send them out that one. And they also are able to sign up for the portal. There's an election judge portal that has all of the information that they need. And right now we're still populating it, so it doesn't have a lot on there yet, but yeah, it's a work in progress. But
So somebody was a past election judge or election worker, then they need to go on there and they need to go to the site and click on it.
and we have sent the link to all of our past election judges, and I don't remember the latest. Do you know what the latest number is? It's almost all of them, right? Or that have actually pulled it out now.
Okay.
We still need like approximately 170 more.
Right.
Okay.
So it's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I know my husband probably hasn't done it because he never gets his email.
Right.
So,
And we have, since it's a new system, we have had people, will call us and we'll walk them through it.
Okay.
Or they've actually come in and we've helped them.
all right.
What we found is some of them have had issues, like if they try to do it on their phone, it doesn't open correctly or,
All
something
right.
like that. So,
And I did have someone tell me, well, they didn't even ask what position,
right.
so they've only done part one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of the other things that we will be doing, we're working on, our polling places, getting that loaded into the management software. Election judge supplies, all of those things. So that's going to be the next things we'll be working on in the next few months to get ready for the election. And then, no new information from the Election Operations Center. Alan Matheny at, Emergency Services is putting together, my watch thinks I'm talking about, has been putting together, our, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Proposal, plan.
Yeah, the plan, basically. Just putting together like an initial plan for us to take a look at. So that's kind of where we are right now. And that's it for my report.
Only one page?
I know. I've been off about a month, so.
Okay, Brian, do you have a report today?
Briefly, just an update. We are not being sued by anybody at the moment.
Hey.
I'm glad we-
That is news.
That is good. It's good news. And just to let you all know, the Katie Berry has initiated already the typical calls that we have, lawyers, local counsel for the boards have with state officials going into the election season. So the first of those calls is to take place on May 12th. We have another one scheduled for June 9th. And typically in recent years, what they've done is as we have one, they may add those to the list or as issues come up. So for benefit of the new members, sort of that conversation is happening between the Attorney General's office, SPE staff, and counsel for all the local boards. It is a means by which we get information, particularly of timely issues that are happening, and we push that out. So what I will do is we go forward into the election season as I get that information. And if there are minutes that in past SPE has done minutes, the last time they didn't do minutes, but if I get written minutes, I'll push them out If not, I'll give you a quick debrief on that. I typically do that by email because it's usually information. If there's timely information that you need before next we meet, I will do it that way. Those emails are not attorney-client privileged information. It's just me passing out information. The calls, while they're not public, there's nothing confidential being discussed in them. It's just more of a news and information you need dissemination. So first one of those, May 12th.
Be here before we know it.
Thank you.
Unfinished business. 2026 election plan.
Yes, so in December, the state board approved our election plan, and I just wanted, this packet that I put in your board packet was what the state board staff was using when they presented this to the state board, and I was pretty impressed with it. It had some really good information, so I thought I would print that off and put that in your packet just for your information. Yeah, it's a lot more detailed information than even we had, because we don't have access to these kind of GIS maps, unfortunately. So that's just for your information. Any questions about any of that?
Does this go like on our website? So if members of the public are interested in seeing this, they could access it?
I did not, but it is on the state board's website.
Okay. Do we want to put it on our website?
Maybe I could post a link to it.
To the state, to
Yeah.
send them to the state board?
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like, this
Yeah.
looks awesome and it's interesting.
Okay. Anything else about that?
Nope, so we can retire this from the unfinished business at this point. Okay.
As well as the next one, but I wanted to keep it on there.
To give the closure,
Yeah.
closure.
Closure.
The holiday dinner happened. Okay. So report on the holiday dinner.
That actually, it just reminded me, that was when I broke my foot. It was,
By the time we left, every time we had dinner, you was coming in hobbling.
yeah,
We didn't even drink.
no. As soon as I left work, I went to start hanging Christmas decorations on my house and fell off my ladder and broke my foot, but I still made it to the holiday dinner. I wasn't gonna miss that. So, yeah. So, anyway, that's all I have for that. Any other comments? I mean, everybody, I thought it was nice. It got a little cold when the front door opened every now and then, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was nice. The butter's not so good.
Service was great.
Yes,
You're right.
service was good. Yeah. Okay, new business. Policy on requests for voter registration lists.
Right, so what I would like to do, is we've had, I don't know that this was even our policy, it's just what we did, in the past. And, you know, this is something that's new that the state board is trying to rein in. They would like to see, local boards charging the same amount, you know, for voter registration lists. And depending on the type of list that people are requesting, they want to get a standard amount across the board. Because SBE's point is, if a voter from Washington County were to call SBE and say, I'd like a list of all the Democrats in Washington County, you know, SBE would charge a certain amount, which may or may not be the same as what we would charge if they called us, right? So they want it to be consistent across the board. And what we had done in the past is we always provided every month a list of new registrants to both central committees. And we never charged them for it. But the idea was that if anyone else wanted that list, they would contact the central committees and not us, right? Because if they contacted us, we're going to charge them for it. If they wanted to go to the central committees, they could get it. You know, you were chairperson of the central committee. So And I think what SBU would like us to do, and what other LBEs are doing, is they're charging for the initial request, and then they don't charge for the subsequent. So for instance, like now, Central Committee should be requesting another year of these lists, because that expired in December. So I just sent the last list earlier this week for December.
Meaning the update list, not the full list.
Right, just the
Gotcha.
new registrants for each month. And so they're gonna need to send me a new form. And so what I'd like to do is charge them I guess $75 for that list. But that will be a one-time charge. And then every month after that, the rest of the year, we don't charge them again, because we're not asking them to fill out a form again. We're just providing that information.
And it's good for a year.
Yeah, good for a year. Now, having said that, and the reason I say this is because we have gotten requests from other organizations besides the central committees. And I feel like I'm in a tough spot, because I'm like, do I charge them or do I not charge them? Right. And technically I should charge them, but then I'm like, well, why am I charging them and not charging the central committees? Right. So what I'd like to do is just make it across the board. When somebody fills out a form, then you should charge them whatever the fee is for whatever that type of list is that they are asking, right?
Well, the minimum list for any of our lists now are $75.
$75. Now, if they ask for something that's partial,
Still $75.
actually that's true, because
Yeah. the
it
minimum
says,
75.
it says on the thing, if it's a district, if it's a full county or a district, it's still a $75 charge.
Now, when you say on the thing, you
This
mean
is
the
the
form?
application for voter registration. Yeah. So,
This would be the same for candidates, for campaigns.
Correct.
for-
yep. And we had that during the 2024 election, where some candidates had asked us for the updated list of voters who had requested mail-in ballots. Because I guess they wanted to say, well, if they're requesting mail-in ballots, maybe we can contact them, because we're not gonna see them at the polling place, that kind of a thing. And
Like
so,
up until the cutoff date.
right, so we would charge them, if I remember correctly, we charged them for that initial list, but then as we provided additional lists, we didn't charge them, right? So it will be consistent with what we've done in the past. And again, I've called around to other LBEs, and that's what they either do now or what they plan to do. So I just want to make it consistent. So what I'm proposing is, every time we get an application for a voter registration list, we will charge whatever is the appropriate fee, which in most cases is going to be $75.
And this is the full list,
No, it could be a partial.
It could be a countywide, or it could be even a single district.
but it could be a full.
Yeah, it
list.
could be.
And we're gonna charge the same price for a full list as we do for monthly updates?
Yes, because in the monthly updates, we're going to charge that $75, but then we won't charge for the subsequent. Right.
So,
So one.
It's considered a partial list, but then you could get monthly updates.
okay, but let me just make sure I have it in my head. This is a new person making a request. I want the full request. But I also want monthly updates. Am I gonna pay the $75 twice because I'm paying for the full list, and then from next month on, I want the monthly updates, or am I getting the monthly updates with that initial?
Right. So anytime they fill out a form, that's when we charge them for what they're requesting. So once we've agreed that, okay, what you're asking me to do is to provide monthly updates, then we will not charge anymore for the rest of that term, whatever that term may be. But once that term expires, then if they want to do it again, then we charge them again for the next term. So
There is a cutoff date for PSRs anyways. It should be
true. Yeah, once the
Then
voter
it's the voter
registration
registration
closes,
deadline.
then we don't provide
no more PSRs.
Yeah. Lists anymore.
So do all of our so what exactly information do they get on that list? Because I've never seen one, so I'm curious. When I read here, we've got social security numbers, driver's license, phone numbers.
We do not provide those, but what we do provide, in fact, we don't provide any of the things that are on this list.
Okay, great.
We provide name, address, their party affiliation.
Okay,
Sometimes we may say if they're active or pending, because,
Okay.
that could be important.
all right.
Um,
Just was curious.
Yeah.
So Barry, this says policy at the top. We don't have a policy book as a board. Is this going to be a state policy and we're just making it uniform? I mean, if
Correct.
I'm a candidate and I'm gonna plan my campaign around certain things, how would I find this information out on the state board or on webs without having to call
Right.
local?
Yeah, so this is a state policy, here, and we do have a list of things for candidates to expect. I don't know that voter registration lists are included in that list of things. Most of those things are, where to put signs, when to put signs, things like that. I wonder if it will be appropriate to add a line about that, just to give
Just
them
some
information.
central location where a candidate could just
Yeah.
look all of this up and know what to expect and
Mhm.
how to budget for it and everything.
Now, on our website is a link to the voter registration list application.
I mean, I could
Though.
click on something. I haven't been on the website in a while. Is it pretty intuitive?
Yeah, it's on the left side. On the left side of the homepage, it'll say, for candidates, and it's all different things that
Okay.
candidates would find
Perfect.
interesting.
And if this is there,
Mhm.
That policy that you're indicating was adopted at last month's state board meeting. And it was, the state board thought it beneficial to create a written policy that effectively amalgamated the law generally as it appears in statute regulation.
so it is written somewhere.
Yes, and the Assistant Attorney General explained it that, everything in that policy is founded in law, but it was meant to do what you're suggesting, which is to kind of summarize it all in one place, because you get a compendium of election law, regulation, and, general provision articles related to Public Information Act requests, et cetera. So there's a layered set of laws. This was put together specifically to bring all that into one place. My fear about taking something and adding it to this board's website that would make it incumbent upon you to periodically check to see if that policy has changed.
Right.
I mean, that seems
Because we
like,
don't have a process for any of that. We don't do policies locally.
correct. So that policy just governs what the staff will be providing. I'm not sure how helpful that policy itself will be, but it certainly is a publication the state board should be available to the state board. I think the question you're asking is how do the candidates know what they're getting into if they're gonna order all these copies? But that's on the form.
It is all on the form, and the form is easily accessible. It's just,
And
It's on our
honestly, the
website right now.
form seems clear.
What's
to
that?
me.
It's on our website right now.
yeah,
It's also
it's
think the
just been
policy
long
is
enough.
really
I
about
haven't
something
checked
else.
for it.
It's not specifically just
Yeah.
for these requests,
Got it.
right? It
Got it.
applies, but it's not specific to it. It's the
That-
way I understand
That's
it.
helpful. Thank you.
So I don't know that you all need to vote on anything. I just
I
wanted
guess
to
that
bring this
was
to your
the other
attention,
thing,
and
yeah,
if you had any
okay.
suggestions or comments about it. But that's, what we're
Because
intending
it's
to
under
do.
new business, so I was
Well,
thinking.
the state board policy arose, if I understood, there was a fairly robust discussion at the state board meeting that, they've gotten lots of calls, they being the state board, about people being concerned about their personally identifiable information getting out. Like that, can you get to things that you might use to, defraud me, assume my identity via the public nature of some aspects of the voter registration list. And that policy was created in part, as I understand it, to quell the fears of the public that that kind of stuff is not going to be provided. And it's not a backdoor to getting, identification
Data.
theft information. So,
So in this policy that the state apparently has adopted, it says that the following information should be redacted. Why doesn't it say shall? or will be.
Yeah, or must be, or must be, yeah.
Because when you do the report, you have to pick and choose what you want to be on that report. So when
Yeah,
I
but-
do a search, I have to pick certain things and take certain things out of that report.
Right, but if these are things that should be, and they're identifiable personal information, to me, that's a should.
Yeah,
Or,
I think the answer is probably because some of those items, like personal phone number, personal email address, are permissive under the Public Information Act,
Hmm.
right? Or not directly addressed. We've kind of been through this before with some of the PIAs and we've gotten, it permits you to redact that information depending on what it is, right?
yeah,
Okay.
So,
yeah,
so as a general policy, I think this says the starting point is should, which I would read for all purposes related to this board's work as
Shall.
must.
must,
shall.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
for our reports, these 5 items are not included on anything
Correct.
that someone pays for.
okay.
Right.
okay,
I feel better about that.
yeah.
Right.
Now,
It would be helpful if they did use stronger language though, because like personal email address, for instance, I could see where a candidate would like to do an email blast and say, hey, can you provide me the email addresses of all of these voters? And I would like to be able to say, I can't do that, right? I'm not allowed to do that. you know,
well,
But
And I don't think that information is collected by the state board with the
They would.
acknowledgement of the
Yeah.
voter that they're submitting that information to an email broadcast list.
Right.
And again, there's a lack of cohesive approach to some of this stuff because.
It's a
of the
start.
Source of the law in various places, but
Yeah.
it's nice to be mindful of it to that degree.
okay. Now, number 4 on the form
Mhm.
indicates type of list needed. Is each type of list charged separately?
No. No, they're all gonna be $75.
So they're all covered under
But I
that
think
one
what she's
time.
asking is if I want a walking
Oh, I
list
see
and
what
a
you're saying.
permanent,
If
am I
she's- if you
charged
Yeah, I
start
wanna
checking everything,
check, check, check,
No,
check. I want
that's gonna be
everything I can get.
$75 per list.
Okay.
per list? Okay.
yeah, per list.
Oh.
That's correct.
I
Except
got
if
what
you
you
want voting history, that's considered one report and you get up to 5 elections for
Okay.
voting history of
Okay.
someone.
Right.
Or whatever, election you're interested in getting voting history for.
Okay.
Do we track the pure list for a single election?
Oh, a cure list? We've never had to do one of
I'm
those.
not, yeah, I've not done that report before.
But I can see where someone would wanna
And
see something like that.
Especially on the provisionals
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Since
and-
we had such a large number and
You can't cure a provisional.
you can't cure a provisional. I
Yeah,
thought
the
we
mail-in
did
ballots,
quite
yeah.
a-
Like when they
Mail-ins are the
send
ones
it
that
in
we
without a
cured.
signature, then we call them to, come in and sign and.
Yeah,
that's-
yeah.
Because the voting has already closed by the time we open any of the provisionals, so the
Correct.
time to cure has expired.
Yeah,
Right, Corey?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
okay.
okay.
All right.
So anyway, I just wanted,
So you did say that you spoke to some other boards.
mhm,
Are all the boards going to be consistent?
yes.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify that.
As far as the
There's
central
no-
committees, yes.
There's no vote.
This is mandatory from the state.
They voted for it, then December
Yeah.
18th.
Okay.
So if I could take Tammy's question one step further. So there's a checkbox for registered voter list. And then there's a half a dozen choices on your voter registration list,
Mhm.
registered voter list. And then under that, there are a dozen, 10 choices of years. So are the choices, again, talking about the $75 fee, is that for the registered voter list? And then these are the options? Or does every one of these can create a different charge?
Yeah, the,
Would be your options.
right, so all of these other boxes underneath of the registered voter list is how we could prepare that list. So it would still just be one list and we would only charge the $75 for the registered voter list.
For Washington County, if you want a statewide, that would be 125.
Right. So basically, if you see all these boxes to the left, though, each one of those would be $75 if you check each one of those, each 75.
But then under registered voter, you can check as many of
Many
these
as you
as you want because it's all gonna be in one report and they would have to
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah, that tells us how to prepare the report.
Gotcha.
and what to
The
put in.
filters.
Yeah.
Does the registered voter list for individual voters include any of the methods by which they are planning to vote, which are above, like permanent mail-in? For example,
When we've done those, that's not been one of the
it's not a piece of data.
methods. I don't even know if you can do that.
I think
I'd have
it'll
to
tell
play
you
with
on
it.
there if you're checking, if you're a permanent absentee voter, it
Yeah,
would show up on the list if I would click it.
it would show up on the
I
list.
think it would, for the mail-in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
But they can change it up to election time. And this is only giving you past because it's
Past information.
history.
Yeah, it just shows how they voted, I guess.
So you can request as of today, active permanent mail-in applicant list voters.
Mhm.
Because in the past, what they did was the candidate would actually, we could even make labels for them, which we don't tend to do that anymore, and charge them per label. But now we just put it on an Excel spreadsheet and then they can print their own labels for.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
No real question.
What was your comment?
So a requester could get a copy of all the voters that are on the permanent mail-in ballot application list.
Right.
A lot of the requests we've gotten in the past, it's exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, the theory for that is voters who are mailing in, whether permanent or requested for the particular election, are approached differently than voters that are expected to be in person, either early voting or
Absolutely.
election day. Because theoretically, not always, but theoretically, mail-in ballot recipients vote much earlier.
There's gonna be assumptions about how they vote.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I understand. I just
yeah.
think you're weighing
Yeah.
access to public information versus
Well, it's on their list.
access to information that might be used for nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
But that's above my pay grade.
It's on their list. Yeah. So
So when this is submitted, does it come directly to you or does it go to the state and then filter to you?
Well, it, 9 times out of 10, they call us directly. If it's something they want for Washington County, they'll contact Washington County for it. But I think the point that SPE was making is someone from Washington County could call SPE, not knowing that they could call Washington County to get that information. And so,
Well, it looks like they need to sign an oath now.
They always did.
yeah.
Okay, so just a call isn't enough.
Oh, no,
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 they-
no,
yeah,
no, they definitely got it.
Okay, all right.
To do payment and then I can determine, I always say it's about a week, depending on, I allow a week to give them the report.
They can email it to you, I'm assuming.
Right, but we like to have the check in hand, at least by the time they pick it up, then they have to
Okay.
pay for it.
And I see there are additional fees related to the type of delivery.
Correct, the most popular one is they just put it on USB.
Okay,
really,
I just looked at that.
so how does that, Teresa, how does that apply to Terry's comment earlier that there's no charge for updates?
I'm gonna go back and look through my notes, but Corey did remind me that I believe when I did those, I did charge the additionals for the additions.
Each update, if it's on a memory stick.
Correct, and then I would charge them at the end because I remember sending some of the candidates invoices. and then they would pay at the end,
So
so.
there's a charge for the flash drive and there's a charge to mail it if they don't want to come pick it up.
And we can't reuse the flash drives. I can reload a flash drive. Once it leaves here, I cannot put that back in my computer, so. But I can email and I can actually use Virtue, so it can be in.
Now, the instructions say there's a setup fee of $3 unless they receive it via FTP. But I don't see the $3 fee on here anywhere for setup.
Well, that's how the state decided to do the form. In the past, I thought that fee was $5, so.
Okay. That's kind of interesting that these two are supposed to go together and they don't line up.
State wanted all the forms to be consistent.
Mhm.
Well, it sounds to me like the $3 gets tacked on in addition to what's here.
Right, but it should be listed as a
Yeah,
fee.
Plus your
On the
10.
other form,
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the form where
it's only in one place.
Yeah, they didn't put it
it's
on the.
buried in the instructions that I read after I looked at the form.
I was gonna say, it was on the second page on mine. So that's what I looked at the second.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so no action needed from the board. Thank you for a thorough presentation. Okay, 2027 proposed budget.
Yes,
Can I ask
and
a question before you start on this? Is this a typo? Is this-
Yes,
Okay,
multiple typos.
okay.
Tammy pointed that out to me. So I actually just made the change up here. It is now FY27
Okay.
proposed budget.
Okay, I was very confused.
Yeah. FY26 as opposed to FY27. So,
Okay.
again, just for your information, this is the budget that we are submitting to the county. It is due on January 15th. And we are currently working on the backup documents, the support documents that we need to provide to the county for why we're asking for what we're asking for. You'll see that in the top, there's an $83,000 increase in the wages, and that is because we have a personnel request for an admin assistant. As if you recall from last year, we originally had our 3 new positions approved by the county. And then not more than a week or so after that was approved, we got a call back from the Budget and Finance Department asking if we could relinquish at least one of those because of budget cuts that they had to make. And so we agreed to do that. We agreed to relinquish the admin assistant. But now we're going to put it back in and ask for it again. And so we will point out to them that it was originally approved in
Yeah,
FY26. And so we still need that position. So that's, that, anything else that's kind of major, the food and supplies went up $400, but that's just because we have more employees. Postage went up for a number of reasons. One, of course, is that the postage is more expensive.
Yeah.
It's much more expensive.
yes.
Okay. And then we also have an additional mailing that we're gonna need to do, so that's where that gets a little more expensive. Let's see. Contracted purchase services, well, let me start with travel expenses first. Travel expenses, what that is every year we ask for about this much, probably last year we asked for about 15,000 or so in travel. They always knock it down. So when they give us back the budget, they knock down the travel, but we only ask for stuff that we need to do. We don't, we're not padding stuff. We say, this is the amount of travel we got to do. And so we still end up doing it. And so what ends up happening is that line item becomes a red line by the end of the fiscal year because we traveled more than they allotted for us. But what will eventually happen is they'll see that we have a history of larger numbers, and then they'll eventually, approve that larger number. So, we put that number back in, and what's going on here is there's a possibility that we're gonna have 2 mail conferences in the same fiscal year because we have one in July for this year, and then we've had them, when we go to Ocean City, we typically go before Memorial Day, so that would still be in the same fiscal year. And so that's what we budgeted for, and that's why you'll see a good bit of numbers there. again, if they end up saying, you know, we're gonna knock it down to this or 10,000 or whatever it is, we're still gonna do the traveling that we do, you know, because we need to do it, you know?
And that includes hotel and.
Yeah. Contracted purchase services went a good bit down. And again, this mostly stems from the quarterly billing amount, the annual amount that the state board provides us. They give us an estimate of what they think they're gonna be billing the county for all of the things that they do. And it includes everything. I mean, it includes their staff, it includes, regional managers, the equipment, just anything that they need to do to conduct their business. They have a certain amount, which is something like $28 million. And then they divvy that up among the counties based on the size of the county. And so, for this fiscal year coming up, they've decreased that. And so, and this actually, it's decreased more than even that, because what you'll see in contracted purchase services is also our salaries that we bill the county. And so our salaries are going up because we have more employees. But even with that, we have a lower number that we're presenting to the county for that line item. Let's see. Training, that went up a good bit because we're going to be implementing that, the MEOC, the Maryland Election Official Certification Training. Pretty much everybody in my office wants to do it. So, yeah, so we had to, you know, put some money in there for them to pay for the fees of training and traveling to local boards of elections.
And those are 1 day type training,
Yeah.
so travel and no overnight.
No overnights, yeah. Let's see, again, seminars, conventions, 2 Mayo conferences in FY27, so that's why that went up. Rentals decreased a good bit because we're actually gonna, every election night, we always rent about 24 cones and 4 flatbed carts from Ted's Rent It. And, you know, Teresa finally said, why don't we do this every year? Why don't we just buy them? And then you don't have to rent them every year, you know? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna buy some cones, buy some flatbeds, and then we won't have to
I
rent
thought
them.
you had some way that we weren't gonna need them anymore.
No.
That would be nice. Yeah, why did you plan it?
I'll let you know. And then we're gonna be getting a second copier in the office like we have. It's, the county actually leases those for us. It's a Ricoh copier that we have in our copy room. We're gonna get a second one, for our candidate filing area. So because, you know, especially this time of year, we do a lot of volume over there. And it also helps with not putting so much pressure on that copier when we're doing voter notification cards and, you know, the postcards that we have to send out. So we're gonna get a second one of those. So that'll add to, that item.
And that's used by our staff, not the public.
That's correct.
Okay.
Other than that, if we get our new employee, we're gonna need to get a new state computer, so that's what that is. So overall, our budget is 58,000 over what it was last year, but when you.
But that includes an employee.
That's correct. So when
Yeah.
you take that
Yeah.
away, we actually have trimmed our budget, you
Mhm.
know, so. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get everything we asked for there. Any questions about that? So we'll keep you posted on how that's going throughout the months. Again, we'll present that to the county by this Thursday. And there's typically not a lot of activity after that. They may call us for questions or things like that, but we usually don't hear until about May, you know, how that's gonna go.
And then is that after it's been voted on by them, or
Yeah,
do
they-
you hear something prior?
If there's any real big questions about the budget, they'll call us to ask us to come and explain some things. And I've typically shown up when I've been there, when the budget and finance folks present the budget, and I know that my part is in it, I'll go just in case they do have any questions, but they usually don't.
Yeah. Do they still do those at the college?
Oh, they still do the public hearings
Yeah,
on the
okay.
budget, yeah.
Right.
Is there a, election judge plan that shows the ideal number of, you know, judges, chief judges and all of that, and the budget for that and so forth?
That is located in the wages part-time. We do have that. We just don't show that in this particular budget.
But there's a plan.
Yeah,
Okay. Mhm. If I could get a copy at your convenience, that'd be great.
sure. Any other questions?
No.
Good for me.
Member remarks.
No.
Peter, any remarks from the new member?
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Nancy?
No,
No?
not this round.
Brian?
No, thank you.
Donna?
Question, even though we're sort of in the middle with a new member with the board, do we want to consider any kind of retreat to help either with onboarding or
Feet to the fire? Throw him into the deep
something
end?
like that? Or whether, since Peter's been following the Board of Elections for many years, I don't know what his comfort level is.
There are some documents. I mean, he should probably have a copy of the bylaws
Sort of a,
and the
Yeah.
responsibilities, you know, that part that kind of has the
Oh,
job
that's-
duties of the
yes.
staff versus the
Yep, that's a
board
good
and
one that we
what ones
always
are
go over
shared.
during a
Mhm.
retreat. Mhm.
And I assume, Barry, you'll share with us the schedule for the election judge training. Those are helpful. I thought they were helpful.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are looking into that. We provided a schedule to the state board because we have a deadline that we have to do that. And that was sometime last year. We had to provide that. But we are now rethinking how we're going to train our election judges.
Okay.
And I think what we're going to do is anyone who was a check-in, a voting judge, a BMD judge, and a greeter, so those 4 positions are gonna get cross-trained. So they're gonna learn all the aspects of
Okay.
the polling place. And so because of that, we won't any longer have specific check-in judge training and voting judge.
Yeah.
They're all gonna be the same.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to adjust the training courses. Chief judges will still have their own training, provisional will still have their own training, tech judges will still have their own training. But yeah, those other 4 we're gonna kind
Well,
of.
the provisional training is gonna be bumped up.
I was gonna say, I wanna go to the provisional training again because
That's,
Yeah,
that's
that's,
the hardest.
I'm
to
still
grasp.
thinking that was a presidential issue and it won't be as big a deal in the gubernatorial,
But
but
if you say that,
I just jinxed us. I know.
Will the chief judges also be required to do the provisional training or just
Well,
nominal provisional judges?
they get provisional training in their chief judge training. Obviously, it's not 3 hours of provisional, but
That was a real weakness.
can
this
they
year.
get paid? Like, I know that as long as you show up, you get paid to do your training. If chief judges say, I would like more, because like, I know there are certain precincts that have more provisionals than others.
yeah,
If they want to come to that provisional training because they had a lot last time,
yeah.
and they still get paid for the 3-hour provisional training?
We have not done that in the past. If they volunteered to come, we welcome them to come, but we have not paid
But we
them.
I guess my
No.
question is, where we have more than 2 chief judges at a precinct, and you have your 3rd alternate chief judge or assistant chief judge,
Mhm.
that person definitely should be required to do provisional judge training.
And almost always everywhere you go, someone is stepping in to assist
On the
Yeah.
provisional.
or replace a provisional who's
Because they're
there.
not doing as
Yeah.
much, in my opinion, as an assistant judge,
Whatever.
chief judge.
Yeah.
And they should be able to step in and assist with that,
Well, again, they get training on provisional.
but they need a little more.
As an example, the total chief judge training is 3 hours.
Yeah.
And the total provisional judge training is
3 hours.
So the amount of provisional training the chief judge receives is perhaps 15 minutes.
Right, well, 45. We do spend a good amount of time on it, knowing that the chiefs are the backup for the provisional judges. You know, they're the ones that step in. So,
And a lot of them didn't have the knowledge.
No.
It's a lot.
It
to
is.
absorb.
It is a lot to absorb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Can
a
you
lot.
let us know when that schedule is set up? Because I'd like to do the provisional
too.
one, because I felt very,
Unprepared for that.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
if
and-
you're present, they will ask you.
Oh, yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
let me call Barry.
And could there be like a skills assessment? I know that's a lot of extra work.
Yeah,
I mean, they do give them, give them mock things to do, but it's just, once they get there, okay, it's fresh in your mind and you did it in April.
mm,
And then we're having the election in June and it's went out the window and
And
they've
they change
forgotten
the
how to do it.
provisional form every so often that.
It's went out the
Well,
window
that
and you forgot how to
provisional
do it.
form has what, 10 options or something? It's a long list, and you use about 4 of them all the time
Right.
around,
right.
but
Is-
still.
Is there a section on the most common errors?
Most common errors.
Mm-hmm.
Or most common type of.
Not having the form signed is a common.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can cost the voter to lose their
Yeah,
vote.
exactly.
I think that
Disenfranchise them.
we really be focused.
Well, we do cover that in the training. And we
Mhm.
do say, look, here, you've got to do this. If the voter doesn't sign this, then there's no point in even doing it because it's just going to throw. We do mention that in the class. We also mention we need them to fill out the back thoroughly and in those cases, that just hurts us as a staff because now we got to try to figure out why did they vote provisional if they didn't fill it out properly, so, but yeah, signature is obviously, that's a game changer. If they don't sign it, then, there's nothing we can do.
You know how at, canvassing, we have sheets that clearly list things and actually show some examples of what counts as a vote. Could we do some little snippet screenshots of this would count, this wouldn't count? And then like a brief description underneath why it wouldn't count.
Yeah, maybe. Think about that.
There's a lot of finite details with provisionals,
Yeah.
because even if the voter does not sign the oath on the provisional application, but they sign their electronic oath that's printed, it would still count because the electronic oath is the same exact oath that's on the provisional application.
Right.
So the state did inform us in 2024 that that still would count
Right.
as a signed oath for the voters. So
Yeah.
But
If they were a
big
registered voter.
Big checklist at the top, 4, 5, 6 things that the provisional judge should make sure absolutely is done on
Yeah.
every one.
Yeah.
If at all possible, in big red letters would be helpful,
Absolutely.
because
Yeah.
Yeah, just have a checklist there.
The
Did they do
materials-
this, and this?
the training materials, I think, are very good and they're detailed
Mhm.
checklists, but they practically,
You don't have time to go back.
they're
to
not
that.
gonna sit there and do it because they're on the spot. They've got 3 people, deep in the line and they're in the weeds. So,
I was gonna say 3.
well, yeah, I mean, or whatever. So,
But I think in a little red checklist that highlights the things they need to make sure were done, and 6 or 7 things to make sure that those items are marked on the form would help them a lot instead of them having to flip back through the manual and look to see something that they were questioning.
So we have a list or an idea of which precincts had the most provisionals.
Mhm.
I know there's an assumption that they may have the same issue. That's probably a wrong assumption, but it's a starting point.
Right.
Could we rearrange how those rooms are set up so provisional is almost a separate with a big sign, because they were getting tied up with all the other,
Mm.
and everyone was kind of freaking out, and the people were being asked to go to another table to fill out the provisional and then walk back,
Yeah,
I don't know if that would even help.
I agree. I mean, they should be totally separate, from everything else. They should not be getting tangled up with, people waiting to get ballots at step
Exactly.
2 and things like that. We do what we can with the configuration
I
of the
know
room
the
that we have.
rooms, I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we know that here was a huge amount. We know Bester was a huge amount. I mean,
Right.
those were 2 big ones.
Yeah, I mean, in 2024, we know why there were so many because there were people who voted in 2020.
Only in the presidential.
Right, and they voted at those vote centers, even though that they were not their assigned polling place in 2024, and they didn't pay attention, so that won't happen again in 2026. But, gubernatorial elections bring their own reasons why we have
The
provisions,
ballots are so long too.
Yeah.
There's so many candidates.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I did have a question. The list that we had the last time that we got with our dates, are we still good with our dates?
Yes,
Okay,
yep, nothing's changed.
okay.
I get a copy of this. Whatever
Yep.
that is.
The dates.
Kind of important.
It's all the canvassing and.
Yeah, it's kind of
every
the
place we
canvassing
have
and,
to be.
kind of when we want to be available. I'll get very.
How is that circulated?
I think
It
he
was
just
in our-
handed it out.
It was in
Yeah,
our
we handed
packet.
it out, but
He
I
handed it
can
out.
email it.
Yeah,
Yeah, email it just so I can double check. I think I.
I still have mine.
That might be a good resend.
And one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I have it here somewhere buried, is, the ethics email came out
yes.
to do your ethics filing.
Wow, something.
And
Yeah.
I told myself I would have it done before I came to this meeting, and guess what? I don't. But I won't be the last one this time.
Yeah, I was gonna work on mine today, but I got busy with 1099, so it didn't happen.
So you will probably,
I did
this is,
You already did it.
yours.
And if you would, when you get your receipt emailed to you, if you could forward that to me, because I like to keep a copy of it in our files.
Who did that come from, Donna? What was it?
It was a
You mean
state
Tammy?
ethics.
Sorry.
It came from ethics.public@maryland.gov.
Yeah,
I assume it went to my.
and it went
Yeah,
on,
it went-
it came on the 10th.
Yep.
It says ethics.public on the top of mine.
And it's already filled in from last year. You really
Yeah.
just need to go in and
They've come
check it.
so far.
Oh, my Lord. Yes.
Oh, the financial disclosure filing system, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll have it all filled for you. You can take a choice of redoing it, but I would suggest you go to,
Thank God.
yes.
And Claudia will need to do a final. So I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
I alerted her
Okay.
already to
Yeah,
that.
I actually emailed the state just to ask if that was required.
Yes, it
It
is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Guest remark.
Nothing, thank you.
You're welcome. I could not let you say anything since there's only one guest today. All right, scheduling of next meeting.
February the 10th.
All right. Board
February
packets,
10th.
board packets were distributed. Any future events of significance that,
I didn't really see anything. That
Okay.
was sometime soon.
okay, as if there won't be enough coming. Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn and preferably reconvene into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor for the purpose to go into executives.
Closed session.
Executive session.
It's really not closing this one. It's
Executive.
Recess.
recessing
Recess.
this meeting and going into the executive session for the purpose of number one, personnel.
May I request a 5-minute recess for?
Absolutely. That's an amended. Brian amended.
I requested it technically.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are recessed and we will reconvene in 5 minutes.
Thank you.
in closed session. Thank